Hello and welcome to a special event. Yes, that's right. Myself, the man, Evan Silva, the machine, Michael Leone are gathered here tonight to do a 2000 buy-in season-long fantasy football draft. This is indeed on FFPC, which is a full PPR, however, tight end premium site. So you're going to see a little bit of weird things. It's also not a standard 12-team home league. This is a tournament aspect. We'll get into some of that here in a second. We drew the fourth. We're indeed on the clock. I didn't even see what happened here, Leone, with picks 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, CMC goes down the two wide receivers with CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill. Makes our decision easy. We kind of wanted to go running back anyways, just because how we think this is going to play out. The only pushback against that is sometimes you talk yourself into the roster construction and you lose that these elite receivers are still a big edge, even if the alternative is you can't get as many of the sleepers at wide receiver later. But with those guys gone, I think it's pretty simple. Brees or Bijan. I prefer Bijan, but it's totally vibes based. I think it's close to a coin flip.
Yeah, I don't have a strong take between Bijan and Brees either. I think Brees' role is probably a little bit cleaner, but the environment is better for Bijan. Evan, any takes on Bijan versus Brees?
I love them both. I think we just go with Leone. Bijan as the pick.
Okay. So what Leone referred to there is the stuff we talked about on the running back strategy pod, where we wanted to start running back first here because there are so many wide receivers that we think are going to slip that we really, really like. However, there are not that many running backs for the dead zone that we really, really like. What's going to be a difference here you're going to see is that in the second round, a ton of tight ends are going to go because this league awards 1.5 points for a tight end reception. So, Leone, if you want to go to the board here so people can kind of see
Yep.
what's going on, there we are here. And I also want to mention the structure of this too, Leone. Maybe you want to outline for the people
Yeah.
exactly what's happening here. We're playing a 12-team league, but then beyond that, it gets bigger after that.
Yeah. So it's a 12-team league, weeks 1 through 12. It's weeks 1 through 12 is a 12-team league. The top 4 teams make a league playoffs that gets played in weeks 13 and 14. The winner of that league playoffs and the top 2 seeds from the regular season move on to an overall playoffs where a bunch of winners from a bunch of leagues compete for an overall contest prize of $1 million to first. It's extremely top heavy. It's a sprint. So your regular season points average counts as 1 week. Then week 15, week 16, week 17 all get added on to that. So, with that in mind, with the tight end premium stuff, I do think it's hard to win an overall contest without getting one of these top 7 tight ends with
Right.
the 1.5 point per reception. I just think it's really likely that the winner is going to have one of those tight ends. And also, what happens, I've noticed, is based on our rankings, the top tight ends go about where they should, but then those mid-tier tight ends get pushed up way higher on people panicking on tight end. So I'd really like for us to be able to get a tight end at 2.9, play it pretty safe. We're probably going to have to pass on a wide receiver that we really like. But
Yeah.
again, the receivers
It could
go
be
a
a
bit
little
deeper.
painful, I think. It could be a little painful, I think Achan, I think somebody good, if especially if we go along with a tight end run here in the second round, we're gonna end up loving our early third round pick either way. But it could be painful in the moment.
For sure. A couple things I want to say. If you guys are in a home league draft, I actually think the tight end thing applies just on a different score. And I actually would have Evan Ingram as a target for me. Also, sounded like Leone cuts it off at the Pitts Kittle tier. I would include Evan Ingram in there where I'm okay with him in home leagues. And you're going to be able to get those guys
Yeah.
way later than you would here in a 1.5 tight end premium league. The other thing that I would say is that we're going to be doing some stuff here that is applicable to the format. Like we're trying to win $1 million. So applicable to the format means some stacking, maybe some reaching for some more high upside, lower floor guys. It includes thinking about winning a big final in weeks 15, 16, 17 instead of just your 12 person league. So there's some changes that we'll be implementing here versus your normal home league.
Yeah, I think with the 1.5 point per reception, if we could get McBride or Kincaid would be pretty good. Like 2 young breakout guys. Silva, I know in his 150 as Andrews a little bit ahead of those guys, but his is based on half PPR Silva. I'm guessing you'd be okay with Kincaid and McBride with the 1.5 point per reception.
I think any of those three guys.
Yeah. I have that McBride, Kincaid, and then Andrews, but it's certainly
To me,
close.
Laporta would be ideal, but he's probably going to be gone.
Yeah, can you go back to the board here, Leone? I'm trying
my
to
bad.
cross off names.
Yeah, so no tight ends yet, which is kind of rare. So there's definitely a chance we get
Yeah.
Laporta. I've also seen these tight ends go in any
Oh, that would be
order.
insane.
At times, Kincaid and McBride will go before Laporta. So, you know, I wouldn't rule Laporta out. I do think what's interesting, if the rest of the room isn't like onto the tight end stuff, I don't think it's insane to go running back, tight end, and then just really hit the receivers. The other wrinkle here, you start 2 wide receivers and 2 flex spots. So it's a little bit more okay to have 2 elite tight ends and with the tight end premium scoring because they're just basically another pass catcher in your flex and then a little bit of insurance on your main tight end.
There goes Puka. Yeah.
How do you feel about Kelsey?
I'm fine. I'm totally fine with Kelsey. I mean, I think he's a good pick.
Okay. And then throw Andrews in there.
Yeah, we are recording
this. This is what we want to see, though, is like Travis Etienne going at 2-4.
Yeah,
like that's the room.
I
that's
couldn't
why
believe Saquon went 11th overall.
Yeah,
that's another reason why we were considering going Bijan or Brees over CD and Tyreek. We ended up not having to make the decision, but
yeah, and we do have FFPC rankings up on the site for anyone who has the draft kit, and we do have Sam Laporta 13th overall in this format. Travis Kelce 15, McBride 18, Kincaid 19. I mean, we have some very high rankings.
There goes Kelsey, so the first tight end off the board.
First tight end is indeed
Laporta probably goes here.
Yeah, I do like Kincaid McBride a little bit better than Andrews again with the 1.5 PPR.
Yeah.
Just I think, McBride Kincaid. I just think they could be just monsters in terms of catch volume this year.
Yeah.
Even if
who do you prefer, Kincaid or McBride?
Yeah, I don't have a strong preference there. Do you have a preference on those two?
I think I can't remember exactly how I have them ranked. I'm sure they're really
you have
really
them
close.
pretty close.
I think lately I would be leaning toward Kincaid actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had McBride ahead of Kincaid, but with this Curtis Samuel turf toe and some of the preseason usage from Kincaid, I just think he's basically has to be used as a wide receiver and tight end, and I think he's gonna be on the field more than he was last year, even when Dawson Knox plays.
Dude, they don't have a choice, man. They have to get Kincaid out there all the time. I mean, I have a ton of Kincaid and a ton of McBride. The only reason I was taking McBride in the best ball stuff was because it was easier to stack with Kyler, right? Like I was already missed on Allen, and so I wanted to go McBride so I could get the Kyler stack. But
we're guaranteed one of them. Again, you know, it is painful. You pass on Achane or Kyron here.
Let's not even talk about it.
Yeah, I'm with Silva. I think we just lock in the tight end, and then we can figure out what to do on the way back.
Yeah, just to be clear, Marvin Harrison did go, correct?
Yes,
he did.
Okay, so our
there goes McBride, so it's Kincaid.
Our top ranked guys are exactly Kincaid and McBride for this format.
We can use this time to talk a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, I think coming back, potentially we could do Andrews if he was still there. Achane or Kyron's fine if we want to do running back. Silva, I know you love Neighbors. This would be a fun contest to have Neighbors too, but there's some good receivers. Olave.
Yeah,
Cup,
I mean, I like Jaylen Waddle so much. I love Nico, Olave. I mean, we're gonna love our third round pick.
Yeah, and that's what happens with the tight end premium stuff. Waddle probably doesn't make it back to us. Neither does Nico. There's a chance Devontae Smith comes back to us. I'm gonna block in Kincaid just so we don't get on auto. But yeah, the pick coming back is going to be, if Achane or Kyron was there, would you go that or would you just start hitting wide receiver?
I think that would be Achane for me there, and I'm so confident we can still have a loaded wide receiver room against these boomers. But yeah,
agreed.
Like, I mean, where does someone like, I don't know, where does DJ Moore, likely to go in this, or where's T Higgins likely to go in this? I mean,
so
you can get so many.
One of these with Jack and Dink, and we got T Higgins and Zay Flowers at the 4-5 turn. So
Right.
you're able, and then again, it depends what room you're in, but sometimes you can get the rookie receivers that we like as late as the 8-9 turn. I think Worthy's been so hyped, you're definitely not going to get him there. I'm worried about Brian Thomas, but worst case scenario, I think you could get someone like DeAndre Hopkins and Jordan Addison at the 8-9 turn, Jamison Williams, which is very different than best ball. Those guys are gone by the 8-9 turn usually. So, yeah, it does let you just draft wide receiver forever if you, and then just not worry about running back. The flip side is we know running backs will come out of nowhere at some point during the season, and you leave yourself a little bit more flexibility to take advantage of that if you've only locked in one running back spot early.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is a managed league. We will be grinding waivers for this. Waivers run twice a week. And by the way, if you guys have a Draft Kit Pro, Daigle is in charge of waivers for us this year. We're making a bunch of additions there to the article and what we're going to be doing around waivers, and also doing a bunch of stuff in Discord for try to help people with waivers more this year. So yeah, I'm actually excited to grind this. I actually haven't like really grinded a season long team in a long time. What do you think of this start, McCaffrey and Achane? I actually kind of like it, but maybe I'm
Sick.
crazy.
Yeah, that's what Dink and Jack and I started at the 101, and we went CMC Achane Pitts because it was the same tight end run where Pitts was the last tight end we felt of the tier.
Mm-hmm.
So we
So
did that.
yeah, I like that start. Our best available now, for the record, I may have missed someone, but I have it as Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Neighbors, Waddle, Devonta Smith, Nico Collins, and then Pitts. So we do have 6 of the wide receivers before Pitts here.
Is Devontae Adams or Devontae? Devontae Adams. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I'd be good with him. Although I prefer Jaylen, Waddle, and Nico Collins to Devontae Adams.
What about Neighbors? You have Neighbors really high in your.
Yeah, I don't have him quite as high as those guys. So
You
like
have him
right behind.
17th overall in front of Waddle.
I have Neighbors in front of Waddle.
Yeah, and just behind
Oh, God.
Nico. And the full PPR sways me a little bit to Neighbors over Nico. I think the catch volume's gonna be a little better. I mean, they're both great.
Yeah.
I feel like in a boomer room like this, is there a chance that we could get Neighbors at 4.9?
I
No.
doubt it. There's been so
Oh,
much
there he
hype
just
on
went.
him. Yeah.
Neighbors, yeah, he's been going.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough one. I mean, Adams is still tough to pass on. Yeah, there's
He just went.
Kyron.
Nico just went.
Yeah.
I prefer Jaylen Waddle personally. I wouldn't mind Kyron Williams either.
Okay. I think
Go back to the board. Leone, are we on the clock?
Yeah, we're on the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nico went. Yeah, so it would be Devontae Adams, Jaylen Waddle, Devonta Smith.
The situation with the Raiders just adds up for Devontae Adams to be an unhappy player this season.
Yeah, he just commands so much volume. I'm fine. We can ditch Adams if Evan doesn't want him. Kyron or Waddle though, then Levitan.
I would prefer Waddle personally.
Yeah, I think Waddle.
Okay.
Man, Devontae Adams is just in best ball stuff too. He's been slipping a ton lately. Also, yeah. I thought the Minshew thing was actually good for him, but or not good, but better than AOC.
I kind of preferred Adams there, but I get the Waddle pick on the upside for sure. And in half PPR, I think I would have been Waddle over Adams. It is a little scary, the situation, but I think it's kind of priced in if you just look at, the huge spike weeks Adams was still able to provide last year. But Waddle definitely, as we talked about in the wide receiver podcast, took a step forward on a per route run basis. It doesn't show in his overall stats and his per game stats because he missed, portions of games. But that's an exciting offense, and maybe they're not force feeding Tyreek quite as much as they were last year. If you've seen the Tua clips where they were basically saying that they were trying to get him to 2,000 yards, if it's a little bit more even or something.
And he kind of ran out of gas at the end.
Oh, he definitely did. Yeah, he was banged up and ran out of gas for sure.
And he's already banged up in camp a little bit today. He's dealing with something on his hand.
Yeah.
And I think he turns 31 in November.
Yeah. That team number 5, Leone, that started RB tight end RB, I think is an interesting start. I'll be curious how their wide receiver room ends up, but yeah.
My bad. Tyreek turned 30 in March, so he'll be 30 and a half years old.
I don't mind those two running back and a tight end, or running back and two tight end starts, and just smashing wide receiver for like the next 6 rounds.
Yeah, I talked about that on the round by round favorite pick show Evan and I did today, where if you start something like, I don't know, Brees Hall, Achan, Hurts in your home league, I think that's a really interesting start, because if I'm on ESPN or Yahoo, my wide receiver room is still going to be loaded if I start running back, quarterback in a home league. So yeah, I'm interested to see how Listen Up can figure out the wide receiver room here.
I doubt it'll happen. If one of the tight ends came back to us, I think they'd be, a smash, whether it's Ingram or Pitts, probably Kittle too, who gets hurt in our ranks a little bit because we have him so efficient, but like not a ton of catch volume. So the tight end premium doesn't give him as much of a boost as some of these other guys, but I still think just on talent and like individual spike week upside for the playoffs in this top heavy format, that like any of those three would be a smash.
Yeah.
People may be noticing that I'm looking off screen here. Believe me, I'm paying attention. I have 2 computers, like all real men should. And on my other computer here, I have a list of our rankings that I'm trying to keep up with and cross off. There goes Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram before Pitts, Leone. That is a personal affront to you. Evan Ingram goes before Kyle Pitts.
We actually do have them like back to back in this format, because Ingram so much catch. I think Pitts just has a ceiling that Ingram doesn't. But yeah, it's they're the same tier. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we have them 31 and 32 in our FFPC.
I mean, Kittle to us at 4.9 would be a lock button, right?
Yes, but I don't think that's gonna.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Kittle is the one that kind of slips.
Rashee Rice would be an awesome pick there.
Kittle's ADP is actually after our pick in the 350 contest, so not quite the same. But you can see, I'm switching back and forth between the board and the room, but you can see the wide receivers in our queue. Like, we're going to get a very good wide receiver almost no matter what. We'd love to see some really early running back picks.
Yeah. And going back to the conversation at the beginning, the difference to me between Brees Hall and Bijan versus CD and Tyreek and Amon-Ra, like, it's all super close. Where it's not super close is those wide receivers we have in our queue versus some dust ball like, James Cook or Rashad White or something like that. Like, we're going to be smashing wide receivers through there, where hopefully people are taking running backs like that, which may have been an argument to take Kyren there over Waddle, but yeah. DJ Moore goes.
Kyren versus Waddle.
Some risk, and I think we don't necessarily expect it that Blake Corum is used more than we kind of anticipate.
Yeah,
with Kyren, I like him. I'm ahead of ADP on him, but I mean there is some risk there.
Yeah, and it's a structural thing. You don't want to go too far with the running backs over wide receiver early. Like, there is a reason to favor the wide receivers, so you're kind of trying to balance out what's a smart overall strategy with preferring the wide receivers with what's best for roster construction, preferring the running back. So I think we did an okay job.
Well, here it just happened. I mean, this guy started. I mean, I love his receiver core. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, DJ Moore. He ends up with James Cook reaching heavily for him at the 4.1 pick, and that's his RB1. I mean, I don't want any part of that.
He just didn't. He didn't have to do that. I mean, we have James Cook ranked 51st in this format, and like, he definitely didn't have to. He could have gone Pitts there, but
he felt like desperate.
Yeah.
Right.
He put himself in that position.
This is where we want to see Josh Jacobs go. You want to see Rashad White go. Those guys have ADPs before our pick. If they go, all of a sudden our 5th round pick looks really strong too. And, just reaffirms the decision to get at least one running back in those first 3 picks.
What on earth would be the justification for taking James Cook over Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me too.
Even if you don't like Josh Jacobs, even if you're like Leone and you hate Josh Jacobs and his family, and you love the Bills.
All right, we'll see if one of these teams doubles up at tight end. If they don't, someone's going to get a screaming value on Kyle Pitts.
And to be clear, this is 2 flex spots.
It's not going to be us, Leone.
It's two
I'm
flex
using
spots.
my whatever. If we get like one override pick, if Kyle Pitts is there, you've got to pry.
Just burn the team then.
Computer.
Please, George Kittle, make it to our pick.
I mean,
you have Kyle
Pitts
Pitts ahead
Kittle
of George Kittle?
is a smash. Pitts
Do you have
over.
Kyle Pitts ahead of George Kittle?
Yeah, the market does too, big time.
Yeah, by quite a bit, by a full round.
Wow.
Yeah, but in half PPR, our Pitts and
Obviously,
Kittle
paying
ranks
no
are super
attention to
close.
In
the
half,
PSM
I
ratings.
think we lost Levitan, or we lost me for a bit. You guys,
Yeah, I still got you.
in half PPR, we have them like really close, Pitts and Kittle.
Yeah. Pitts and Kittle in half PPR, we have super close. Yeah.
It just San Fran doesn't project to throw as much as Atlanta, and Pitts projects for a higher target share. So they separate. He separates a bit more when you get in this 1.5 point per reception.
Right. All right.
Oh my God, this is breaking. This team at 6.
Yeah.
If they get Pitts here, that is a pretty sick start.
Please
It's a
take
0
Pitts.
RB start.
Please take Pitts.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The fact that you're cheering for us not getting Pitts in the 4th round is, I can't even.
Are we George Kittle here or what?
So our best available based on our rankings are Mike Evans. Oh, he went.
No, he's gone.
Steph Diggs, Kittle, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice is pretty tempting. I'm fine
like
with Kittle if we want to really just make the room sweat at tight end a little bit too.
Let's do it. Let's take Kittle.
My vote would be Rashee Rice, but I'm fine with Kittle too.
All right, let's go Kittle. Let's see if we can make the room sweat.
Yes.
The other thing that's a wrinkle here, just to keep in mind a little bit, is the league playoffs are weeks 13 and 14. So sometimes based on how your early picks go, you either want to avoid those buys or you go all in and you just hope to get a first or second seed in the regular season.
Yeah.
Right now we don't have, any guys on buy in the playoffs here.
Nice. Good point. I want to see like someone reach for like Dallas Goedert or like Jake Ferguson or something.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Has Steph Diggs gone yet?
No. Diggs and Rashee Rice are the two that I am crossing my fingers on a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Diggs, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers would be our best available receivers. Best available running back would be Jacobs and Rashad White.
Yeah. There's also Tank Dell and Amari Cooper. Rashee Rice does go the pick after us.
Yes. So teams that don't have tight end are either unaware that it's tight end premium or just think that tight ends are being overdrafted relative to the scoring system, right? And like you could cobble together something like David Njoku and Brock Bowers or something like that later. Like how would you play it, Leone, if you didn't have a tight end yet?
Yeah, I mean, Njoku, Bowers, and 6-7, I think are fine. We're quite high on Dallas Goedert after those two guys go. But then it really starts to, in my opinion, get pretty shaky. Jake Ferguson's like okay in this format where like, he just runs so many routes and they throw so much. He's also fine. But yeah, then you start to get into a situation if you miss those 3 or 4 guys where you're really going to bleed a lot of points to these high-end tight end teams.
And maybe you could get lucky and win your 12-team league, but we're talking about trying to win $1 million in the overall thing, and I think having the elite tight end there is probably better for that. If I was playing in like a 12-team league, I would be less likely to try to like really go for it.
Yeah, I probably like wouldn't have doubled up there at tight end in just a 12-team league, but I think here the spike week potential, if you get an 8-catch game, that's 12 points plus, obviously the yardage and touchdowns that come with it.
T. Higgins, I like that pick. By the way, this is not being streamed live. We wanted to record this so that we could actually talk about what we want to happen without other people listening in and stealing our picks and stuff like that. I know that sounds crazy, but every time we do a live stream of one of these, it 100% happens, like 100%.
What are your guys' ranking on these receivers here? We got Diggs, Flowers, Dell, and Amari.
Diggs clearly first for me. Then I would probably have Tank Dell, then Amari.
I think I would have Dell and then I really like them all, but I think I would have Diggs 1 and Dell 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about Zay and Amari? Adam, you're Amari over Zay.
I think so. But man, this Deshaun Watson shoulder stuff is definitely scary. Evan and I are
Yeah.
going to talk about that on the show tomorrow, but it's definitely a little scary. There goes Amari.
Amari goes. I think that's I like
That guy
Zay a
has no
little bit
tight ends.
better.
I mean, if you entered a $2,000 draft and you don't know that it's tight end premium, you deserve to lose.
Oh, I think people know. They just think they get overdrafted. But you see,
Yeah.
There goes
Ferguson goes over like someone like Diggs. Those are the things that happen, when you wait.
Right.
That's good. Diggs.
So
Snipes.
Flowers or Dell. It would be Tank Dell for me,
I like
probably.
Tank Dell.
This
He's definitely a spiked week player.
this guy in the 3-hole has, a pretty nice team. He's taken a couple of the guys that we liked. He took Nico in round 3 when we liked him. He took Rice, Diggs. He's got a pretty nice squad. Obviously, we prefer that running back in round 1, but I definitely think you can make it work going 0 RB2. It's not like
Oh, I like his start for sure. We'll see what happens at running back, but there's going to be, like with that, there's going to be guys like he could get Devin Singletary and Najee Harris later and like be fine,
Yeah, 6, 7. What's going to be difficult for us is going to be like how early do we grab the rookie wide receivers that have that end of season upside that's really important in a tournament? Like, are we willing to reach a little bit on those guys to make sure we get the upside, given that we went non-wide receiver picks a few times, or are we going to risk them, gamble that they come back? That's going to be, tough. It kind of stinks that they're getting hype right now. Adunze is getting hype. Brian Thomas is getting hype. Previously, Worthy's getting a lot of hype. A couple weeks ago, it was a lot easier to gamble on those guys lasting.
Christian Kirk is going to fall in like every one of these. He's had like, people think it's a negative report about the 2 wide receiver sets. People aren't excited about him. I mean, he's been sinking everywhere, Christian Kirk. But he is our best available based on ranking right now.
He should just eat catches this season. I mean, with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas outside, I mean, and he's got that established rapport with Trevor Lawrence, whereas the two perimeter receivers are newcomers. I think he can catch 90 balls, no problem.
I'm a little surprised that quarterbacks have not, more quarterbacks have not gone yet.
Speaking of which, we have access to in stacks CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, Tua, Josh Allen's gone, Kirk Cousins.
The quarterbacks definitely go later in these. I mean, you just start doing the math on 12 quarterbacks when you're not doing best ball, and they really start to last.
Yeah.
And there's a chance Mahomes falls, and like maybe we try to do like a Mahomes Worthy thing, but that's obviously pretty risky at the turn there. If Worthy doesn't come back with the Marquise Brown injury, I don't think you want to take Marquise at 7-4. I think it's a little early for Stroud at 6-7, but it's not, it's not unheard of. His ADP is 79. So you're talking, about our pick at the 7-4 is around Stroud's ADP.
You think Hollywood is totally hands off at 7-4? Oh, there goes Mahomes anyways. Never mind.
Maybe not totally, but I don't know. It would be a pretty big reach on our ranks. The other thing with Stroud, I mean, I do like Stroud, but knowing that we can go Tua or Purdy, I guess we just have to think through the playoff upside and how much more Stroud gives us. It's
like the way this quarterbacks go down in this kind of league, I think is the way it goes down in more people's home league, where we're just watching to see what other people are doing at quarterback. And I'm fine with honestly down to like Caleb and Jayden Daniels. The only other factor in this kind of format is we want to be stacking for that finals, whereas I wouldn't be worried about that in my 12-team home league. There goes Bowers and Pickens. See, man, nobody wants Christian Kirk these days. I mean, no one.
And that's where, I think in Njoku Bowers, you get him at 6-7 turn, that's great, but I mean, that's a little early. And that's what happens. You feel the squeeze at tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have Worthy ranked 67 overall right now. So like I don't think it would be a crazy reach to go Worthy here if he gets
I don't
those.
either.
Like a Kirk Worthy combination would be pretty nice. Get kind of like that stable PPR guy. We can start every week in Kirk, and then some more. I mean, we're making efficiency bets though. 3 straight guys: Waddle, Kittle, Dell. Betting on the efficiency, which a lot of times
Yeah.
the volume comes along with it. If they hit the way we're obviously hopeful they're going to hit.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, I was reading today in the preseason, has lined up on one side of the formation on 26 of his 27 routes.
That's your boy Cliff. You defended him. You defended Cliff.
I don't think he's the worst guy ever, but that's like what are you doing? He's like the only coach in the NFL that still does that.
What is he doing? He also like loved playing Zach Ertz over Trey McBride. Loved it.
And loved playing Christian Kirk outside when he always obviously should have been a slot receiver.
Adam, just make sure there's no running back we would take here, right? I mean, I think it's
Can I just see who's been taken?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Aaron Jones would be a decent pick, I think.
So our best. Oh, Kamara's gone. Our best available running back on ranks right now is David Montgomery at 73, James Conner at 76, Swift 77, Aaron Jones we have 79.
I like all those guys a little bit. I think that one of them would probably fall to 7-4.
Yeah. I also think this is what drafting Bijan gets us is we can take the better wide receiver bets now.
Right.
Yes.
We don't have to draft start. We don't have to lock in an RB2.
Like
I would love Worthy here.
Yeah, me too. I know you looked at the handcuffing stuff. Leone, what do you think about Bijan Algier teams and managed, where I just guarantee myself, no matter what happens, I'm gonna have an elite running back option every week? There goes Christian Kirk.
I don't love it. Like I'd rather take a chance on handcuffing somebody else's back. Like I'd rather have Blake Corum and Bijan than Bijan and Tyler Algier. If you are in a home league where you just know you're so much better than your competition, like
Right.
I guess then you can lock in the security. But for the most part, I'm typically trying to, bank an outcome where I have 2 amazing running backs rather than just locking in one.
All right, we're about to come up here.
So
Godwin, Fat Keenan, and Worthy, and Rome and Reed are our best available.
Please let us get Worthy.
Where's Godwin on? I think Godwin might have.
Oh, Godwin went. Okay, I missed that.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh,
Sniped on Worthy. That's a tough one.
So Fat Keenan.
We could look at RBs too.
Fat Keenan, Rome, Jaden Reed, or David Montgomery.
I'd be Rome here, but
I prefer wide receiver over running back here. Rome, Keenan, or Jaden Reed would be the ones for me.
So, who do you like of those 3? I think it's definitely wide receiver here.
I would definitely take Ridley over Keenan Allen.
Okay, so then it's either Rome or Jaden.
I think Jaden Reed is pretty safe.
Okay,
with upside.
That gives us more stackouts too. So Jaden Reed. Okay. I'd love Rome coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think then 8, 9. I mean, we can maybe go running back, but it's possible. I mean, we can also talk about Stroud on the way back, but we've also opened up. We've got now 4 quarterbacks.
All right, I say if Rome gets back to us, we'll just take him.
Okay. Definitely. Oh, we definitely got to take Rome if he goes. And also JSN is there too. I know Silva really likes JSN.
Yeah, I think we maybe could get him around later even.
Yeah. What's JSN ADP? I think it's like 85 overall.
Yeah, it is 85. So it's tight, but it's possible.
Goddard hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, Goddard. We're ahead of the market on Goddard, so he's kind of the one value we have after the elites. Most of the other tight ends, where they go, we have them as negative values. Goddard's the one that we have as positive.
Man, Fat Keenan is sinking like a stone.
Damn. I thought we were going to get Worthy.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, so this guy, listen up. I really like his team if he didn't take Joe Mixon. Like, it's gotta be Flowers or some wide receiver that you like over
He
Mixon.
took Joe Mixon as his RB3 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a draft with Sam Sherman. We took Joe Mixon in the middle of round 5 as our RB1, where we had a
Right.
There
different
goes
build,
Rome.
but we definitely would not have done that as an RB3. So Rome
Right.
goes. Ooh, this guy's setting up the Dak double for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm receiver here. If you wanted to gamble on like Brian Thomas or someone coming back at 8-9, we could go like Connor would probably be the
I
guy
mean,
I would take.
Evan Ridley is like I think the Titans are legit going to be really throw happy.
Yeah,
Our best
I feel like DeAndre Hopkins at 8-9 is just a better pick than Ridley here.
Yeah.
Our best available right now is Fat Keenan, Goddard, Ridley, JSN, James Conner, Swift. There goes
JSN. I like Swift a lot. I mean, I think that offense is gonna hum. You know, they also have like they began training camp with the third easiest strength of schedule at Sharp, and then JJ McCarthy went out. You know, that's 2 games in the division, so they might have the easiest schedule in the NFL, which is going to help a lead back like DeAndre Swift. And Herbert's going to play, and Roshan's going to play a little bit, but Swift is going to play a lot on a team that I think is going to score a lot of points.
I mean, I'm probably receiver here, but I'm okay with Swift or Connor if that's the way. If we want to gamble on like Jameson Williams.
Okay, then what receivers are we talking about? Because we're up in 3.
The receivers roundabout would probably be like Odunze, Keenan Allen.
Odunze went, dude.
Or
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Odunze's
Keenan Allen, Ridley.
Can you really
Brian
stomach drafting
Thomas.
Keenan Allen right now?
There goes Najee.
This guy at 1 has
I
not
think
taken
Keenan
a
Allen.
hit.
I mean, this is about where you have him ranked too at this point. I mean, the market's. We don't have to take him, but I think it's fine here.
Our best available: Keenan, Ridley, Swift, Aaron Jones, McConkey, Brian Thomas are our best available. But Brian Thomas's ADP is 105.
Yeah, I'm worried about the preseason hype, but if we want to gamble, we can go Swift here and then hope we get like 2 of Brian Thomas, Jameson Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, those Keon Coleman at 8-9.
I mean, Hopkins' ADP is 101.
I like Swift and Aaron Jones.
I'd be okay with Swift. I'm not really into Aaron Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, there goes Ridley.
So do you want to go Swift, Silva, but then we got to go receiver back to back at 8-9.
Have to.
Adam,
Swift.
are you okay with Swift here?
I usually pass on Swift in these spots just because I'm fine with like Singletary or Javonte Williams or Pollard and guys like that. But
if this Bears offense cooks, like DeAndre Swift he's gonna shred.
I just don't love any of the wide receivers that go here either. Like it would be Keenan for me, and that's basically it because I think McConkey, Brian Thomas have a chance to get back to us. So really, it's just Fat Keenan or Swift, I think.
So we're doing Swift or Keenan?
It sounds like Evan really wants Swift.
Okay, let's do Swift then.
I mean, there's some chance. Like our best available wide receivers are going to be Ladd, Brian Thomas, Hopkins, Christian Watson. Jameson is down here further, but he might get back to. Is like
this is where it could break really well or really poorly. We're crossing our fingers. We've definitely gambled a bit with that pick, which is fine. We're trying to win an overall contest.
I really hope DeAndre Hopkins makes it back to us at 8-9.
Brian Thomas is the guy I want.
That would be great too.
I love Brian Thomas. I don't think Ladd makes it back. I think he probably has the least chance from what I've seen, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think Keon Coleman has a good chance of being there at least at the 8th round pick.
While we're on the subject of Ladd, Leone, we should get your comment on all this FUD around the guys who aren't playing in 2 wide receiver sets in the preseason because there's a lot of them. Tank Dell, Rome, Jaden Reed, Ladd, Christian Kirk, all these guys.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, I can't draft them. They're not playing 2 wide receiver sets. I think like people maybe are I think it matters, but people are like overblowing it to the point where now like these guys are going so late that because they're like, he's not gonna play in 2 hours yet. So yeah, what do you think about all this FUD from the preseason about all those
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, it's hard. You got to weight it properly. Like part of the reason we're behind the market on Jayden Reed is because we are worried about that a little bit. But you need to factor in like how often these teams are going to be playing 3 wide receiver sets. For most of them, it's about 3/4 of the time, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these wide receivers also have like we were talking about Christian Kirk. Zay Jones gets hurt last year. Christian Kirk plays in 2 wide receiver sets. There's things that can happen where he sees more snaps. Jayden Reed, even though we took him and we like him, I'm a little bit more worried that like the Green Bay guys have direct backups and Jayden Reed is who he is. But he's just got such a good breakout profile. We don't care at wide receiver 36. It's when he goes at like wide receiver 26 that we're a little bit concerned. This stuff with Ladd too, it's a rookie wide receiver. You're not necessarily betting on him playing all the snaps from day one. If he had already earned all those snaps from day one, I mean, he'd just be an absolute smash pick. I mean, so it's probably not going to happen all at once, but just the fact that he is even out there in 3 wide receiver sets to start the season is really good for someone that you're hoping breaks out, doesn't have very good competition around him. So it's not that this stuff doesn't matter, but you just got to weight it properly and kind of understand how the season could play out over the whole course of the season, not just what's going to happen week 1.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate that last point Leone made. I think it's important. Our rankings are not designed to make sure that we have the best team in week 1. Our rankings are designed for the full season, for the full thing, and back-weighted production is going to be more important, and we're trying to accomplish that in the rankings. So yeah, like we're not trying to figure out what the playing time and outputs are going to be in week 1. We're trying to figure out for the full season.
Dallas Goedert has still not gone.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
The other guy, I think if Stroud makes it back, I would take Stroud. It's going to be tough to pass on the receivers if they.
No, we need a wideout, dude.
You wouldn't take
We
Stroud?
have access to Tua. We have access to Purdy.
Yeah,
I know. I just think Stroud
I think
has an
Stroud's
extra.
ceiling is yeah.
We have access to Jordan Love.
Yeah,
That's true. We do got Love. I think that'd be a really good price on Stroud. He's not going to come back to us at 9 because the guy in pick 3 is setting up the double stack. He's got Nico Diggs. He seems like a sharp drafter. So 8-9. If we do go Stroud, it would have to be at 8-9 if he makes it back.
I would love Hopkins.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we have a good chance that Hopkins is going to be there.
Well, I mean, then that's that would be awesome. Then I'm open to Stroud Hopkins. That would be awesome.
I guess the question is Stroud Hopkins versus Brian Thomas Hopkins and punting receiver or punting quarterback down the line. What gives us more playoff upside? And it's a hard question to answer because on one end you get the rookie wide receiver breakout potential. We also add Trevor Lawrence as yet another potential quarterback. We could possibly take 2 quarterbacks, which I don't do a ton in manage, but I think it can make sense at the right price in these formats. But at the same time, Stroud has like that nuclear season in him for sure.
He does.
Yeah, Stroud. I like having the elite stack to try to win a tournament. Like
and from just an in-league standpoint, I know that we're trying to win the million, but from an in-league standpoint, we hurt the guy drafting next to us a little bit by drafting Stroud.
Has Marquise Brown still not gone?
I don't think.
Put him in the queue.
I mean, Stefania, if you guys listen to the show with Stefania, I mean, she seemed to feel like as soon as when he's back and cleared, like he'll be fine back, and obviously like shoulder's not great, clavicle's not great for a wide receiver, but still.
We've got 6 wide receivers I'd be pretty happy with between Brian Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Ladd McConkey, Jamison Williams, and Keon Coleman. And we're getting the running backs going early, which is what we want. I mean, a 7th round Pollard, Zamir, Brooks. This is what we want to see. 3 running back teams. We've got a few of them out there already. This is playing into the gamble we made with Swift in round 7.
Yeah. Knowing that we could have gotten Goddard this late, like in round 7, Leone, do you feel like we like a Rashee Rice and Goddard instead of Kittle and Swift? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd probably be Rashee Rice and Goddard there.
Yeah, me too.
I would take Goddard in 8, actually, if he's there for sure. We can start all 3. Um, I would add him into that receiver. Stroud goes. So we're definitely not going quarterback here. We have a lot of options. I would absolutely take Goddard at 8 if he.
That's kind of sexy. It's kind of sexy, bro.
Goddard is our best ranked player. Our best rank right now is Goddard, Ladd.
Yes, Chase Brown goes in round 7. We want 2 of these 7 pass catchers, basically. The 6 receivers I mentioned and Goddard. We get 2 of those 7. I think we're really happy, and then we can figure out what happens at quarterback at 10, 11.
And you don't have Addison in the queue, do you? I still really like Addison.
Addison too. Sorry, I hate not having our ranks loaded because I do miss guys. Yeah, Addison I think would also count in that tier. I really like Romeo Doubs too, but it's a tier below for sure.
Yes, agreed. And we do have Josh Palmer in our ranks, but I think for managed, Josh Palmer is a little bit worse than best ball stuff. Like, I don't know that Josh Palmer has huge ceiling games in him.
Yeah,
or ceiling seasons in him. I'm sorry, he definitely has ceiling games in him.
That's where we're trying to thread this needle.
I don't think Ladd does either.
We start with running back knowing receivers will last, but then we do want to get like 5 or 6 before having to take the Josh Palmer. We're kind of thread that needle. I think just any rookie receiver, there's enough uncertainty to say they have like a decent ceiling. We've just seen it. It doesn't always work out. It works out, less times than not. But when it does work out, you get a Puka season or a Tank Dell season. It's just so impactful.
All right.
Javonte goes. This is the room we want, boys.
There goes Jordan Love too. We had him as a stack with him.
It's certainly getting thinner for us at quarterback for sure.
Yeah, but we still got Tua, Purdy, and Caleb a little bit. And if we get Brian Thomas here, Lawrence comes into the mix. And will see at a certain point the quarterbacks will just stop going because people don't need 2 because it's not best ball.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels is also available as like a naked option.
Yeah, Jayden naked. I think Caleb naked / with Swift is like okay too if they spread it around enough and he runs. It's not ideal, but it's not.
Yeah.
And we can take 2 quarterbacks too and just kind of play things. And in the tournament format, there's actually it's a little galaxy brain, but if you're trying to differentiate from teams and you've got like Purdy and Tua and the Purdy stack goes off 1 week, we can separate from the Purdy teams by playing Tua in one of the other playoff weeks.
Yeah. And I think for people in home leagues too, like if you get caught in this spot at quarterback where you're like, well, I have Caleb and Jayden Daniels. Do I want both of them? I'm fine taking both of them in a managed league and just playing matchups with that kind of thing all year. And I actually am like, I prefer Caleb to Jayden, I think, at this point, and I'd be fine with us taking Caleb. I don't think we need to take him here, but I'd be fine with Caleb as our starting quarterback.
I think I'm Brian Thomas first here.
Yeah, our best available is real close. Ladd, Brian Thomas, and DeAndre Hopkins. We have all back to back to back. Then Marquise Brown, Jaylen Warren, Jameson Williams.
I'm quite sad. But we do have Hopkins. We might want to play the ADP game a little bit. We still got 5. Oh, and actually, I'm Goddard. I keep forgetting about Goddard. I'm Goddard here.
We only have 3 receivers, but this would allow us to. We're definitely not drafting any more tight ends.
Right, we'd be done. We'd be done. But it's kind of like pass catcher. We want the pass catcher upside in the flex.
Right. It's absurd that he's still available. And there are multiple teams that don't have tight ends.
Yeah, and we just make it harder for them too. I'd go Goddard, and then whichever receiver comes back would be my pick.
Yeah, I kind of like getting to the wide receivers like Ladd and Jameson Williams, or Hopkins and Ladd, or Hopkins and Jameson, and I really like Addison too, but we do have Goddard like a miles ahead as the best play. We have him 73 overall.
And this guy already took Trey McBride. We'll see if he's willing to take. Dallas Goddard made it back to us.
I'm Goddard here, but
I'm fine taking him. I think we definitely take him.
Let's take Goddard. Let's make the room pay.
God, I cannot believe I signed up for
No more tight ends, guys.
$2,000 draft, and I ended up with three tight ends in the first 8 rounds. Thanks, FFPC. There goes Singletary.
Silva, I'm good just deferring whoever you like most here. We look set up pretty good to get one of these 5 wide receivers.
I would rank them Hopkins, Hollywood, Jameson Williams.
Okay.
Hopkins, Hollywood, Jameson Williams.
And then Addison 4th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Lad goes, so we need
I'm not as high on Addison because I just think that their pass rate is going to be down, and Darnold is like more of a first read quarterback, and that's going to be Justin Jefferson like every time. But I really like Addison's talent, and his environment is still really strong. But that's why I would have him below the other guys in this particular group.
Man, are we gonna take a 32-year-old knee injured DeAndre Hopkins over Waymo JMO Williams Silva? Are you gonna are we is that really what you want to do?
I will say we need more upside. You know, we're locked into pass catcher starters, but I kind of think Hopkins still has upside even at age 32
with a knee injury.
And now all of a sudden he's supposed to be ready for week 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Hopkins has been falling so far lately. Like, no one wants this guy.
Also, everybody on the right side of the board has a QB. The only teams that don't is the stretch from 2 to 4.
Good eye.
And we've got, as far as stackable guys, we've got,
I would include Jaylen
naked.
Yeah.
You've got Purdy, Tua on the stack department. I think there's a very high probability one of Purdy or Tua comes back.
Yeah.
And possibly even Jaylen.
For sure. Sometimes Purdy goes like 30 spots past ADP in best ball too. There goes
Hollywood goes. We're starting to get a little thinner on this wide receiver. We're guaranteed one of these 3 though, between Hopkins, Jameson, and Addison. I'll let you guys duke it out on Hopkins versus Jameson.
I don't know what's happened to Evan. He wants a 32-year-old hurt wide receiver over.
All right, listen. You know what?
Waymo
I've fallen into the depths of guilt. So if you want to take Jameson Williams, just fucking hit the button and we can move forward.
Yes.
I mean,
I got Adam's
fun.
like yes.
It's supposed to be a fun thing. As much as people like Leone want to pull the fun out of it, we're supposed to be having fun. So
3 tight ends in the first 8 rounds. We're having so much fun. Oh, Jaden went.
Jameson, right? That's what we're doing.
I think Jameson.
Double check everything. Yeah, Jameson.
We technically don't have, and we have 4 receivers. We technically don't have one alpha. DeAndre Hopkins would have been technically an alpha. We have, Jaylen Waddle, Tank Dell, Jaden Reed, and Jameson Williams. But that doesn't really bother me.
That's true.
We have a lot of young, youthful explosiveness, though.
Yeah, and this is full PPR, and so you can make a case that Jameson is worse in full PPR because he's going to make big plays on less volume. But still, I need some sex in my life. DeAndre Hopkins. I can't go Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Hopkins with 2 picks in a row. My God. Hopkins goes right after.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he has Ayuk, Worthy, and Hopkins. Like, I would have done it a little bit different where he took Joe Mixon and probably where he took, and definitely would not have taken Aaron Jones there. But, like, he could have had a really nice team, I think, team 5.
I mean, you could have had Zay Flowers and Keenan, and I don't know. He's got this unstacked Burrow too. It's a little odd.
No, he's gone off the rails. There's Brian Robinson. So Josh Palmer, Addison, Zach Moss, Spears are best available right now.
Addison would be a lock, obviously.
Yeah, Addison's a lock. I prefer Dobbs to Palmer in this format.
Okay.
And then obviously Tua or Purdy. I mean, those guys could last a while, but I know it's scary to.
Well, I'll tell you what, Caleb
Yeah.
should
Caleb.
be at the top of the queue.
I love, yeah, I think it's got to be Caleb too.
I would say Addison and then Caleb. I mean, Addison isn't realistic going to make it back to us, but
And there's also Zach Moss. I think is pretty good as relative to the running backs remaining.
Yeah. Who just went? Spears? Oh, Spears.
Yeah, Brian Robinson and Spears went.
Yeah. The running backs that I think are still interesting to me would be Ford, Moss, maybe Gus Edwards.
Corum is nice for this format too, where we're just trying to bank, the Kyron injury and just hit max upside.
Oh, and Dowdle, yeah. Yeah, to be clear, this is a lot of rounds. How many rounds is this draft?
This is 20. We do need to do a kicker and defense.
Right, 20 with kicker and defense. And obviously, like, these are really deep benches. And so we can hold things like Blake Corum for a long time and not be squeezed on our bench size. So I definitely think that's the really important thing when people do drafts is to think about how big my bench is. What kind of players am I actually be able to keep on my bench? If my bench is only 4 people deep, well, how long can I hold Blake Corum for or something like that if he's only playing 20% of the snaps or something,
So we could do something like Caleb plus best player available, and then maybe get Tua or Purdy plus best player available at the 12-13 turn. Gives us the unstacked Caleb, but a bit more upside, and then a second stacked quarterback.
Do you think Cole Kmet even gets drafted in this?
Yeah, for sure.
I think we have to put a moratorium on speaking about tight ends.
I only say that if we get Caleb.
We can't get to the 12th round and be like talk ourselves into another tight end.
No. I don't even want Goddard.
Dude, Goddard was a really good value there. I mean, in hindsight, if we, Rice over Kittle looks a lot better on this squad. Right. But
I wanted Rice also, but yeah. Let the record show. Tight ends.
Do your own draft then.
I might have to. I like what Undercutter's done. Fuck these tight end bros. Look, he's got no tight ends.
And that's where, I mean, I think in an isolated league, like, he could still be fine and make the playoffs. I just think you're going to have to run pretty pure in the. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
he's going to have to nail one. He'll probably end up taking like 4 of them, maybe.
But you're going to need none of these guys to have a crazy 3-week run, which maybe in a 3-week sprint isn't the same as best ball, where like one crazy Kittle week knocks you out. Like maybe Kittle has a crazy week, but then 2 down weeks and you're able to survive it. Like that could happen, but you basically need that with 3 different tight ends. I just think that, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking the tight end premium scoring in the overall format, but
I don't think so. I mean, we have between our 3 tight ends, we could average 5 catches a week combined from them. I mean, those guys can each hover in the 80 catch range over, a 16-game season.
Yeah, we want the Kincaid 100 catch season. Let's get it.
Yes, I need that. Yeah, I love Kincaid.
I mean, I definitely think he can get to 90. I think Goddard can be in the 70s.
At what point can I start crossing my fingers on Addison?
I mean, that would be really nice.
There goes Corum.
Yeah, Corum goes. I like Moss a good bit at tight end. I think he's a tier above everybody else. But I would not take him over Addison for sure.
Just Caleb or Addison right here, I'd feel really good.
Yeah. If Caleb's on the clock when it gets us, we can probably. Well, team 1 could take him, I guess. Oh no, he has Kyler.
I mean, at this point, you just don't know what people are going to do. I would not assume logic.
But it is true that each of these 3 guys here in front of us on the turn, they each took quarterbacks very recently.
Yeah. He does have Rome. Team 2 has Rome, but I don't think he would go Dak Caleb back to back. But
Team 3 definitely feels like a team that could go Caleb. Go Jayden Caleb. I would be Addison over Caleb, though, and risk it at that point.
I would too.
Yeah. Here goes Sharbs. There's so much hype around Kenneth Walker. I've been like, I have a bunch of Charbonnet, but I'm getting like a little bit scared about it. But
I like Kenneth.
I know you do.
I've been grabbing a lot of Charbonnet in best ball, though, because now he's slipping because of the hype around, and you get him in like the 140s on underdog now.
Yes.
And the late round running backs are starting to die, so it makes me want to grab Charbonnet more. The late round running backs are starting to get a little
once
bit.
again,
We should
past
mention guys
Chandler,
like Waddle and stuff are a little bit better in this
Yes.
format that we're drafting in now.
Any managed league, someone who has role uncertainty could take a 0 is better. Like it's kind of counterintuitive to people, but boring players to me are better in best ball. Like I don't think it's even close. You know, boring players are way better in best ball.
Moss goes.
What do you guys think of Rico Dowdle?
I like Rico.
I'm okay with him.
My concern is that they add someone still. You know, we've heard stuff on Damian Pierce, you know, could be cut. We've heard about Samaje Perine maybe getting cut. You know, like Dallas might have some options, but if it stands,
also just sticks in my mind that they like love Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh yeah,
they probably feel bad that they had to get rid of him the year before.
So many running backs.
Jerry Jones is a very feel based guy.
Yeah.
Come on, Addison.
There goes Jerome Ford.
Like we have Rico. I guess we have Rico's RB40. I do like Benson a little bit more in this format too. Again, to the like we can just hold them type of thing. We don't need those base points.
I don't think Josh Palmer has gone yet, if I'm not mistaken. Our best available right now will be Josh Palmer, Addison, Shaheed, Jacoby Myers.
I think Shaheed would be a good pick.
And we have obviously Caleb and Purdy. We have back-to-back here in our rankings.
Do you think Shaheed has Addison goes?
Damn it.
Do you think Shaheed has any sort of big volume upside?
Wait, we just got Caleb?
Yeah, let's go Caleb. You guys want to go Caleb?
I think so, yeah.
All right, I dig it.
This next pick's going to be tough for us. I don't love the Shaheed types, and the Palmer types, but that sometimes is my blind spot in these. Also, I know Curtis Samuel has the turf toe, but it's just a bench thing at this point for us. So
I think you should put Shaheed in the queue.
Okay. I would have that.
I'd go running back here, honestly. I just think there's more receivers late. I don't see a big gap between the receivers now and taking Mitchell.
We only have 2 RBs, Bijan and Swift.
I would definitely be RB over wide receiver here. I think we've reached a point, in my opinion, where I don't know, the receivers that go later might arguably even have more upside, less likely to hit it, but Jalen McMillan probably has a better.
You were going to ask a question about Rashid Shaheed. Do you guys think that Rashid Shaheed ...
Okay, let's compare the best case scenarios of Jalen McMillan versus Rashid Shaheed, in the playoffs. Who are we more likely to be oh yeah, this is the for sure starter?
Oh, I think it's Rashid Shaheed.
You think that? I think he's going to be a big play guy, but do you ever see him maturing into enough volume where we're this is a for sure?
Yeah. I mean, Harmon gave us some optimism on that. The fact that he's been so good on returns with the ball in his hands, gives me optimism that maybe they'll design some quick hitter stuff. They need to design quick hitter stuff for their receivers because their offensive line sucks ass.
Yeah.
And their new coordinator comes from the Shanahan tree, who always has dialed up layup routes for his receivers. So I don't think that it's fair to typecast and stereotype Rashid Shaheed as only a vertical threat. I think that was a Pete Carmichael, Sean Payton thing that has always been a staple of their offenses going back to DeVary Henderson.
I just like to see it at some point. I don't know. I'm still pretty firmly running back here. I just think the receivers, let's
talk about the RBs.
I would have it Palmer and Shaheed, and then the Palmer or Shaheed, and then the running backs. To me, by our rankings, we have Eckler, Gus Edwards.
I mean, Jalen Wright is not fun for this format.
Yeah, Ty Chandler,
There's obviously
Algier.
Ray Davis and Bucky, I think, are very good. I
don't want any of these running backs right here.
Man, yeah, I think this is where we're philosophically divided a little bit, where I think we don't want to end up with none of this running back upside, and there's gonna be wide receivers we like to take later. The running backs are gonna go fast, and it's gonna be ugly.
Like, you think Bucky and those guys go before it gets back to us? That kind of
I
surprises
think
me.
it's definitely in play that they go before it comes back to us.
Really?
Yes.
Like Ty Chandler, Bucky, McLaughlin.
I don't really want McLaughlin. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the guys I'm looking at, like Bucky, Ray Davis, Chandler, Jaylen Wright, and maybe Dobbins. I like them more than our rankings, but
I'm shocked that you don't think those guys will get back to us, but I have not done a lot of
there's so
FFPC.
many receivers late that, like,
Oh
in
my
a
God.
non-best ball format, like, I just don't think it's crazy. Like, I think the drop off from, having to go Bucky to, like, we're going to get to a point with running backs. You guys are going to be like, holy shit, I don't want any of these guys. I don't think we're going to get to that point with receiver. Like, there's going to be Jaylen Tolbert.
I've already reached that point. I don't want any of these running backs.
Right already goes. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't believe Jaylen Wright's going around 11 here.
Dude, this is what happens. Like, you got to, like, shift to running back a little earlier in these rooms. Like, you want to get it early, but then you got to come back to it a little bit earlier. You get totally freezed out on upside.
Yeah. You don't like Gus Edwards?
Not really. I like Chandler, Bucky, or Ray Davis better. Chandler goes. I think we have to go running back here.
God, I can't believe how bad running backs are going here.
But I mean, that's it's not best ball.
Can we just get some running backs on the waiver wire during the season?
And the thing is, we're going to want more than one. We only have two. Like, we're going to want more than one running back on our bench. So if we don't take one now and they go, maybe one of them
but
comes
Rashid
back.
Shaheed is a way better pick than any running back on the board right now.
Yeah, but not for the team, not for our team.
How many wide? Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are nuts to pass on, like,
we only have 4 receivers.
Nuts to pass
but
on.
We have 7 pass catchers, Silva.
This is why you don't draft 3 tight ends.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but the tight end's a receiver. What's the difference?
But we have to start 2 or 3 wide receivers.
2.
Oh, okay.
You can start 3 tight ends.
Does not like to be disagreed with. You ever notice that?
No, I just think
fine. Take Ray. Take Ray then.
I just think, like,
he just wanted the bill. He manipulated the room. Wow, that was a
we got to play the contest we're in. Like, I don't like taking Ray Davis over Shaheed either, but, like, this is the adjustment from the best ball leagues to playing these managed redraft leagues. Like, it's a different beast.
Look at that. There goes Rashid Shaheed right away.
We had Josh Palmer as our best player available by like 30 spots for the record.
I mean, this is where the rankings cease to matter as much. You're looking really at, like, pure upside outcomes in these leagues.
I hear you. I get it. To me, like, what happened there is an argument to take running back earlier. Like, then we should go Kyren over Waddle, because, like, to me, Kyren and Waddle is.
But that's where I totally disagree. In best ball, maybe, but, like, in managed, I don't think that's the case. Like, we're just stockpiling bench upside here. Like, we don't care that Josh Palmer is going to score 12 points a game. Like, that does nothing for us. Like, we have 7 pass catchers. We can only start 4. So we have more depth there. I think the tight end thing is making it look like we don't have as much depth.
We can start 5. 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flex. Right?
We can start 5.
Yeah, we can start 5.
We can start 5.
Ray Davis is a stud. I mean, I think it's not crazy to think that he could overtake James Cook as the primary, like, first and second down back at some point.
Yeah, he can force.
I'm just saying, like, if we run back the 2v2s, it's going to be like Shaheed and, like, Eric Gray versus Ray Davis and Jaylen Tolbert. Like, I just.
All right, you don't have to keep justifying it.
I got plenty of ideas at running back. Everybody slow down. Algier hasn't gone yet.
Braylon
Allen.
We're not handcuffing $1 million to first place. If Bijan goes down, we're going to lose.
It's not just a handcuff. Algier could get legit standalone value, Leone.
Then we're fucked.
No, we're not.
If we're starting Algier and Bijan,
today,
things went wrong.
Touches a game, and Algier's getting 14. We could start them together.
I love that beat repair, but when you guys are evaluating this stuff, just please use your head. The guy projected 510 running back carries between Algier and Bijan Robinson. Okay,
The
so
most rushing attempts of all time.
yeah, just some of this stuff is just absolutely insane.
Well, there goes Algier, so you don't have to worry about us taking them, Leone.
I
I'm
mean,
trying to
we got
think.
to try to win the whole thing, right? Like,
We're all trying to win.
Khalil Herbert is still there. You guys know I love Braylon Allen.
yeah, I like Braylon. I've got him, Bucky, Braylon, Marshawn Lloyd.
I like Bucky a lot.
It does.
I know
it
no
gets,
one's going to want to hear, but yeah, Tank Bigsby.
what's that?
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy, I think, is worth throwing in there.
Yeah. Tank Bigsby, I've been taking in round 20 a lot lately.
You want to put Herbert in there? Or is that too handcuffy?
No, I'll put Herbert in there.
There's also some chance Herbert ends up on like Dallas or something. You know what I mean? Like it's not zero. I think it's really unlikely, but it's not zero.
There's also a big difference between, your 7th round pick and the backup versus the 4th overall pick in the draft and the backup.
Yeah. I wouldn't even consider Herbert like a direct backup to Swift. I think they're going to use Swift in ways that they wouldn't use Herbert. Gus Edwards, best candidate. People always ask, who's this year's Raheem Mostert? I always say there isn't one. However, if there is, Gus Edwards fits the bill for sure. It's like fall into the end zone 12 times.
I don't like.
I'm trying to keep up with this list here.
I do think at some point, Purdy or Tua, I think we took Caleb late enough. We can justify 2 QB and get a stacked guy in case we need it in the sprint, or just they break out and are better than Caleb week to week, or we play matchups or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Our best available is Purdy.
I still think we got a ton of receivers we can take too. I don't know, maybe I'm off, but
yeah, I don't love like
Judy and Lockett have not gone, huh?
No, like you got Judy there. I mean, you got Jaylen Polk, who's a really good upside bet. There's Adonai Mitchell,
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis is there. I
Moondog.
really like Jalen McMillan.
The Moondog, huh?
I love calling
him. His nickname?
I love calling Darnell Mooney the Moondog.
I'd be pretty stoked if Bucky Irving came back.
No, I would be too.
Oh, I know. It's
He looked great in the preseason.
Nobody's ever said that. When you're in round 12, it's like I really hope Bucky Irving makes it back to us.
Leone, who's now frozen, would beg to differ.
I know.
We only have as many draft picks as we can only take 12 players in 12 rounds.
Did the guy who fixed your background mess up the internet while he was there? Is that what happened? Is that why you're freezing so much, Leone?
I don't know why, because I'm on the Ethernet, so I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's happened a couple times lately. I don't know why.
There goes Chuba.
Can you guys hear me now, or am I just?
Yeah, we got you now. Yeah, we got you. Yeah. Hawkinson went. Evan's boy Brandon Cooks is still there, I believe.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is still there. Josh Downs is there. He probably will slip a lot with the injury.
Yeah. Marshawn Lloyd's been going so late lately. I bet he goes super late here. And like when we have 10 bench spots or where we have, like that's the kind of guy we could just leave on our bench. There goes Bucky.
Bucky goes. Damn. Yeah, one of the big differences between best ball and this is the amount of receivers versus running backs is way different. With this starting the 3 wide receivers in best ball, you've got teams with like 8 receivers and 5 running backs. Here, a lot of these teams are going to end up with an equal amount of running backs and wide receivers.
With the thinking being that if the starter gets hurt, you have the absolute stone cold nuts.
Yeah, and it's you're less constricted, obviously, with being able to work the wire and stuff.
Right. I guess my point is for a lot of people who don't have 10 spots on their bench, like you can't hold Bucky Irving waiting for Rachaad White to get hurt if you only have 4 spots on your bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's still pretty draftable.
Yeah, but you're gonna have bye weeks and injuries.
But you
like,
can
well,
churn.
I can't.
You can't be afraid to churn them for sure on the
Right.
wire. But like in an average home league, Bucky over like Jacoby Myers is kind of like a no-brainer unless you've gone really
Can
thin.
you look a little further down the running back list, the available RBs?
Antonio Gibson, Braylon just went. See, I mean, a couple of those guys went, not all of them, Adam. But you do. I mean,
Yeah, no, you're right. They all went. All the guys I would have wanted went.
I mean,
They all
Lloyd
went.
is the guy. Lloyd and Vidal are probably the best here. I'd probably still go running back, but if you guys want to go receiver, Brandon Cooks and Jaylen
You guys
Pope.
have no love for Antonio Gibson?
It's just
I'm so
hard to see
on
him
Gibson. I'm so on that.
They gave him decent money.
We could do Gibson.
We know he has talent.
I'm just not sure there's super high end ceiling, but I could be overthinking that. I'd be fine with Gibson, Lloyd, Polk.
I think he's going to have
we
a
got
role.
20 seconds, so we gotta.
He's going to have a role.
So do you want Gibson over Polk or Cooks?
I think Lloyd would be my favorite running back. We have 10 seconds.
All right, take Lloyd.
Okay.
He just could not have had a more disappointing training camp.
Yeah.
But
no, I know. It sucks for sure.
He hasn't even been out there. I mean,
I know.
But I do think that there's we lost a bunch of wide receivers there, but who are the wide receivers left? Cooks.
I mean, we got Cooks, Jaylen Polk, Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs. I still think there's some. I think Bateman and McMillan, I think, are really good picks.
I think
later.
Bateman is not a bad pick at all.
Oh, my favorite of the ones that just went there actually would be AD Mitchell. Just like there's some unknown where we don't know how good he is, and we don't know how exactly this offense is going to play, and we don't know how bad Josh Downs is going to linger on him. So I had 0 AD Mitchell until the Josh Downs injury. Then I've been taking him.
Yeah. We could take AD Mitchell. We could also do the quarterback lock in, the quarterback here, or we could risk it one more round.
Yeah. Our quarterback access is Purdy and Tua, correct?
Purdy and Tua would be. Let's see if one of them goes. If none of them goes, it's a little bit easier to just gamble.
No, this dude ended up with Luke Musgrave as a starting tight end.
Yeah.
But he also drafted Nick Chubb.
That's where Musgrave gets killed, though, with that tight end premium scoring, because he's just not going to get, he could be pretty efficient, but he's just not going to get a lot of total volume of receptions. But who knows? Maybe he takes a Theo Johnson type late or something and runs into some unlikely breakout. That's sort of what he's going to need. Or Kraft gets hurt and it's more of a one-man show at tight end or something. What are you guys thinking here?
I would vote Mitchell or Polk.
Mitchell, yeah. So Mitchell, Cooks, Polk, Bigsby, Tracy, Vidal are probably the picks, assuming we're gambling on quarterback one more round. What do you prefer there, Silva? I mean, Gibson is also.
I don't have any super strong. I mean, I would take Cooks because of my rankings, but he just went.
Oh, the other one I've thrown to the mix is Michael Wilson, but I don't know what his ADP is in this format. But I do think there's some breakout appeal for Michael Wilson.
I mean, I would probably take Antonio Gibson.
I'm okay with that, and
just to have a potentially usable guy, in case we lose, Swift or Bijan really early. I think Gibson will get 7 to 11 touches a game.
Okay, so I'm okay with Gibson here.
It's just like so foreign to me to not be trying to take wide receivers more.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment from the best ball leagues.
I mean, also just regular redraft. Like I'd be taking way more wide receivers.
Would you? I mean,
I think
but
so.
you don't. But keep in mind, you'd have instead of 3 tight ends, you'd have 2 more wide receivers. You'd have 6
Right.
wide receivers already.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we have 3 starting tight ends.
Exactly. That's the difference. I would have in those tight end spots. I would have wide receiver.
But like, I mean, they are for all intents and purposes wide
Right.
receivers. Yeah.
If we could somehow get Rashad Bateman on the way back, I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still think we got a lot of. I really don't think these receivers are too different than the ones that have been going in terms of the upside cases. Bateman, Polk, Downs, Mitchell. Again, I'm obsessed with McMillan. He's like my second highest owned player in best ball, but I like him in redraft too.
Jaylen McMillions. So he's your second highest owned player. So you have like 13% or something like that.
I've got over 20%.
Leone's a big diversity guy.
Yeah. We're actually working on the DK extension for the on the Best Ball Explorer stuff. I'm going to test it right after this draft tonight. Hopefully, I'll be able to actually get a full picture of my exposures at that point.
Nice.
There goes Polk. That's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, Polk's nice because he could be, usable right away in addition to the upside.
Yeah. I was reading today about Tyquan Thornton, like just out of Stone Cold Blue, all the reporters all of a sudden are like, Tyquan Thornton is the starting X for the Patriots. I was like, my God, man, what is going on in New England?
Where was this all training camp though? Like I felt
Yeah.
like no one said anything about Tyquan Thornton until maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention.
I think the media is like giving up on Javon Baker. We have to be really careful with the beat reporter stuff this time of year. They love to just give up on the rookies like so fast if they have like a bad day or they're like low on the depth chart for a couple days or something.
So I think this next turn's probably wide receiver, quarterback.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if Waddle came back, that'd be the one running back. Waddle or Tracy, I would take maybe Bigsby, and just be done at running back at that point. But
yeah, Jaguars seem convinced that Bigsby's turned the corner. I mean, there was a lot of positive hype around Bigsby this time last year, also.
Yeah, I do like Bigsby. I think him and Tracy.
Yeah, and then he lost a fumble in the preseason finale, and then lost another fumble in week 1, and it was GG as they said.
But you can see once you get past Tracy and Bigsby, it gets rough. You're talking like Jordan Mason, who's like maybe the RB2, maybe not. Damian Pierce, who the things like it just sounds like it's game over for him. Estime is interesting, but it sounds like he's more of a backup, and it's going to be McLaughlin and Javante and base. And I mean, Shipley's there's like okay picks, but I think it really drops off after Tracy and Bigsby in terms of the upside.
Sure.
I agree with that.
Sure. There goes Cole Kmet.
There's Kmet.
Yeah. Do you guys buy this Gerald Everett stuff? Something like smells off to me, man. Like Gerald Everett is not that good at football. And like Cole Kmet, I don't know. I just think it's getting overblown. I still think Cole Kmet's like in play. He's been going in like the 160s in best ball lately. And I've been like, my God, 160s Cole Kmet. And believe me, I'm worried, but that is so late.
I mean, just Gerald Everett has so much history with the new offensive coordinator.
I know.
But the film grinder, specifically JT O'Sullivan, who's like studied every snap of the Bears preseason, says that Cole Kmet, he's never seen him look so explosive.
I've been buying the dip on Kmet. I wouldn't say I'm not scared, but I'm definitely not as scared as the market on the Kmet stuff.
Right. I'm scared at 130. I'm not really that scared at 160 on Kmet.
No, 160. I mean,
Janu.
By the way, Cole Kmet, super hot girlfriend.
Mason goes.
The tight ends just get it,
They've been featuring Kittle on that receiver show. He's fucking wild, man. My kids love him. Now they're going around. They watch that receiver show, and now they're going around acting like Kittle all the time, like
Oh my
talking
god!
like him and doing these like hand motions. He does some like weird like hand thing. I don't know. They're doing it now. It's probably not good. Oh, there goes Bigsby.
Yeah. That's the only thing this draft board's annoying is the team row doesn't freeze. So you
Yeah.
lose it as we scroll down. So sorry to the people watching, but you can see we're team 4.
Yeah. I can't believe these drafts are 2 hours. My God.
This is a slow one. They usually go a
Yeah,
little
it feels
faster.
really slow.
This is definitely a slower one.
The Moondog.
I don't know. I think I'd take Tracy if he was here, just 'cause I think he's the best last running back, and we can
I'd be
almost
good
be
with that.
done.
Yeah. Paul Pierce himself.
And then we can go quarterback on the way back, and then basically just receiver until we do kicker defense.
Yeah, this guy taking Justin Tucker in round 13. I mean, my God, man.
I'll sometimes in round like maybe 17 do it.
Yeah.
If I really
I actually
don't
like that.
care.
I think that's sharp because we're gonna be churning the bottom so hard anyways. And like to get an elite kicker or defense in round 17 is fine. Round 13 is wild.
Oh, the other wrinkle, and this is somewhat in favor of like a Rashad Bateman type pick, but because they do these live drafts out in Las Vegas after the opening game, we have the ability to know what happens and then decide if we want to start or even just drop someone like Rashad Bateman. So if he goes nuke and we draft Rashad Bateman, we can start him after the fact, knowing his score.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he like breaks his leg, we can actually drop him in the Sunday waiver run. So just there's some flexibility there that obviously,
Yeah.
you're playing for the whole season, so it's not a huge deal, but it's never bad to get off to a good start.
Oh yeah. The FFPC bros love that angle. And what Leone is referring to as Ravens Chiefs is the opening night game on Thursday night of this season.
Yeah, and it makes even like a CEH type mega late a little more attractive. Where like, oh, he's clearly back to being the RB2. It's like sweet,
Yeah.
or it's Carson Steele, and then you just drop CEH the first waiver run.
Right.
You don't even have to wait.
Just as a throw in, because we drafted Waymo Jamo, we have access to Jared Goff as well.
We
Yes.
do.
Jared Goof.
We do. I do.
So that actually kind of pushes me off of necessarily trying to force a quarterback here.
Yeah, we.
I think I would in 15. I just like we're almost for sure starting Kittle and Waddle every week, so I do still think there's a bit more value in getting Tua or Purdy. Just to that correlation's a little cleaner in the managed setting, but I definitely think we could wait for the wraparound.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's possible we could push it all the way to, but I think Lawrence just went as a QB2. I'm worried that we might see a run.
I just think that creates a vote in favor of Tyrone Tracy here.
Yeah, I'd vote Tracy, but I would be fine with any of Downs, Bateman. Adam said Michael Wilson. I'll throw him on there too.
Yeah. I prefer Michael Wilson.
Too.
I think Michael Wilson's a better bet than Bateman, but I
really
like the Cardinals offense. That's really the biggest thing. But
I was thinking yeah, I'm a little worried that like him and Zay might end up splitting some, and
yeah,
Dortch. I think the Bateman. Tracy goes. I like Bateman a little bit with the free look, and I just think we'll know early, if it's something changed for him or not, because he's gonna be on the field, right? So we'll know if his targets per route run spikes or if it just stays shitty and we just drop.
Yeah, I'm fine with Bateman here.
Do you guys have a preference on Purdy or Tua? I don't know if you want to grab one with Goff going off the board in case they don't make it through this wraparound. They're the top 2 quarterbacks by ADP. And then get one of the receivers coming back now that Tracy's gone.
I think that they're like the same. They're in the same tier.
I mean, Tua has like the bigger spike weeks in him. I think like Tua has those.
I like Bateman. I think he has very little competition really behind Zay
He
Flowers.
certainly does. I'm fine taking Bateman here, but
All right, you want to go Bateman here, Evan?
Yeah.
Okay. I do think we should definitely take Purdy or Tua. I'm slightly Purdy, but it's close.
I mean, the Super Bowl, for what it's worth, Purdy plays the Lions and Tua plays the Browns in the fantasy Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's a vote in favor of Purdy.
It is, unless you super galaxy brain, and then we play Caleb that week over Tua and we dust all the Tua teams.
Caleb has Seattle in that Week 17 game, which is
Tua goes. So now we're fingers crossed that Purdy comes back.
Yeah, hopefully.
That was
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Tua went there.
Yeah, I mean a lot of these participants take 2 quarterbacks. They've actually lasted a little bit longer on the 2 quarterback thing than sometimes they do. So I'm definitely a little worried we're gonna get a run here. We got to survive these 2 teams. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much just riding naked Caleb and just hoping for the best. What's our backup to if Purdy goes? You like Michael Wilson, Adam, more than Downs and McMillan?
I like Wilson better than Downs. I mean, that injury is just horrible.
I'm fine with all 3 of those guys, but yeah, I usually take Wilson first, but I usually take it when like I have Kyler stuff. So
yeah, I'm definitely hung up irrationally on McMillan.
Yeah, I like McMillan too. Fant is a really good pick in this format in round 13, my God.
There goes Downs. Yeah, some of these teams did a good job waiting once they got, frozen out rather than like panic.
Right.
I don't think like Musgrave Henry at 12-13 is that good, but at least he waited till 12-13, instead of doing it at 10-11.
Yeah. And people do that in home leagues too, where like they're like, oh my God, I don't have running back. Let me take Alvin Kamara in round 4. Like that's just a disaster. Like if you mess up and you don't have it, like we don't have to force it. We figure it out.
I mean, that's exactly what happened with this dude and James Cook
Yeah.
at 4.1.
Come on, no quarterback.
And this guy wound up with Chase Brown as his RB2 and Jaleel McLaughlin as his RB3.
No quarterback. This is a guy we got to survive. We get through this pick, we should be clear. Be pretty surprised. Yep.
Jets defense.
The Jets defense. All right, I think we're clear on Purdy. Would be surprised if this guy took a 3rd, but I guess you never know.
3 quarterbacks? No way.
I've seen it.
Come on. Especially not back to back. I do think there's something mental with people like when they want to do they don't take quarterback back to back.
I was kind of thinking that maybe they'd be more likely to, like, hey, we're getting quarterbacks. All right, Purdy, no brainer, right?
Brock the cock.
Yeah.
Nice. Good patience. I was a little worried there, but patience from you 2 pays off. 15-4 Purdy stacked is quite nice with the naked Caleb.
We now have 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 5 receivers, and 3 tight ends, all of whom are starters. So we're balanced at this point.
We do need to take kicker and defense in this format. We can't do the thing where we don't take one and just add one before week 1, correct?
Correct. Right. So we've got 3 skill player picks left, which are likely all receiver. Like I said, sometimes you go heavier running back just because you want to bank it on the bench. But with us taking Bijan and Swift semi early, we don't necessarily have to do that. If we can play it by ear.
I'm just looking at my favorite Flyers list at the bottom here. I have Yosivas, Tolbert, Colby Parkinson, McMillan. I think that's it on my list of guys who haven't gone yet.
Yeah, I love McMillan. I'm good with Yoshi. I like Burden maybe a little bit more in this format. I like Yoshi more in best ball.
Yeah. I'm just curious,
Pearsall, I don't know.
has Parkinson gone yet? Not that I think we should take him. I'm just curious.
He has not gone yet.
No,
Yeah.
he'll go pretty late.
I think he's an awesome tight end 3 pick.
Yeah. I mean that's my like, not to keep going back to this, but like I do like some of these later tight ends maybe more than other, especially Fant and Parkinson would be my 2 favorites and that go late in this format.
Yeah, I like Fant. I mean, I don't think it's insane to have a team with 4 tight ends either in this format.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, like a 4th tight end versus a 7th wide receiver. You know, I don't think there's really any difference.
Yeah.
Well, put him in the queue. We're back to drafting tight ends, boys.
I mean, I didn't want to say it earlier because I was afraid I would get shoot out of the room, but
Of another guy who's had just a completely washed out training camp, Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
Who at one point it looked like, man, are we gonna have to elevate him into the top 100?
If
I mean,
Ayuk
he's
was
like
gone,
barely
yeah.
practiced, and Ayuk is coming back, and Debo isn't going anywhere, and Kittle has been healthy, knock on wood, and
yeah, Parkinson goes. That's where, like, there's part of me that wants to just blindly bet on like a correlated rookie receiver, and there's part of me that thinks like Ricky Pearsall is just going to be on waivers in 2 weeks, anyways, right? Like, he's not playing week 1, right? Like, nothing meaningful, if at all.
I mean, he's probably a 19th or 20th round consideration for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I would even roster him. You know, just you're not going to learn anything, and you want to churn the wire. We took him when the Ayuk stuff was still a little cloudy. When
He's also certainly behind Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, for sure. As
in
far as
terms of
like,
checking, yeah.
so I don't even think I would take him. You know, like I'd take like a Will Shipley over him, and just try to get lucky there.
Yeah. Will Shipley and my last round running backs lately have been like Shipley, Bigsby, Laub or however you say his name, and I guess that's pretty much it. Let me see what else.
Yeah, Shipley and Lobby are the 2 that are there.
Oh, I have one that I've been taking the 20th round that's going to make you guys vomit, but I haven't done it a lot, but I have taken 20th round Alexander Madison a few times lately.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that in the 20th round. It gets ugly there, not especially now as we're learning some of these picks we were excited about are like actually suck. It's getting thinner for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Madison is a clear-cut number 2.
There's back-to-back quarterbacks for numbers 2 and 3.
Oh my God.
I told you it happens.
Can I see the other tight ends for that team that has Komet and Parkinson? Does he have any other tight ends? Oh, he has Njoku.
Yeah, he's got Njoku.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not taking a tight end 4.
I would love to.
I'd be
I would
really
love to
happy
see the
with-
data on teams that make the final in this and how much capital they spent on tight end. Like if we could get a big enough sample, that would fascinate me. It's such like a micro niche contest. I don't think should put the time into it, but yeah, it is fascinating to me.
In one of the 350s that I did earlier in the season, I took 3 in the first 5 when I got a 5th round Evan Ingram and took 3 in the first 5.
Right. Yeah. I'm just curious how often like teams like that actually win or get to the final.
Yeah.
All right, who are we looking at here? Tolbert, McMillan.
But one note on the Goddard thing, we're not fudging up the tight ends on scarcity. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just on they actually just project better than the wide receiver with the tight end premium scoring.
Yeah, I'd be fine with, well,
McMillan's the guy I'd really like to take, and then I kind of don't care.
Right.
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, McMillan.
I don't really see the appeal as much as you guys seem to.
Yeah.
For a third-round rookie receiver, I know he's run away with the third receiver job, but I mean, he's behind Mike Evans, behind Chris Godwin, and in a passing offense is probably going to take a step back.
Yeah.
My appeal is
So
just,
I don't know, why are the ship chasers so high on Jaylen McMillan?
basically,
Go, Leone.
you're getting first of all, we know rookies just have a wider range of outcomes in general, just because we don't know about them. So to get one of those, when all the rookies are priced up this year, to get one who clearly won the wide receiver 3 job, is going to be on the field from day one. Like you can get them this late. Like I just want to make that bet every single day.
There are promising signs from him, no question.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
not
think it's
that
like
I'm like this tape grinder that's like, oh, Jaylen McMillan's amazing. It's just like, dude, a rookie wide receiver who runs away with the job.
The tape guys really like Jaylen McMillan, though.
I think the reason that it's so exciting to people is that relative to where the other rookie wide receivers are going this year, McMillan is like free, and that's why like people are excited about it.
He's free and a starter. Like it's like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Maybe he might suck, or he might just not be able to earn enough volume for sure. But now we bring into play, if something happens to Godwin or Evans, he clearly stands to benefit as opposed to, a murky situation. But I'm also a little higher on Tampa Bay in general, I think, than the market. I think the market's kind of like overdone the Canales thing. Like I hear it so much, like, oh, they might not be as good this year. It's true they might not be, but they also might just end up being completely fine. We don't really know. Who do you guys like here? Dortch, Yoshi, Burden.
I mean, Demarcus Robinson is going to be on the field a lot for the Rams.
What was that?
Demarcus Robinson is going to be on the field a lot for the Rams.
It would honestly, my pick would probably be Yoshi, just because I actually think that the Bengals might let him run with this job for like a long time.
I think that's great.
But
great.
He might not be good enough, like Burton's definitely a better talent, so.
Yeah, I think it's
Burton is
odds.
also like a clear perimeter receiver, which is where T. Higgins and Chase play.
Yeah.
Whereas they've like really jammed it into the slot with Yoshi.
Yeah. I like Yoshi a little.
I like the Yoshi idea. I say we do that.
I'm cool with that. I like him a little bit better than DeMarcus too, where I feel like we're thinking through like odds that one of these guys becomes a clear starter. Like you can see it with Yoshi, where if he's like a really good slot and they throw a ton, that could be him. With DeMarcus, it's more like it's a good best ball pick because he's going to be on the field a ton, like Evan said. But I don't know if he's ever going to run into like a big target share.
Right. You're not going to know when to start DeMarcus Robinson. I think if Yoshi's good, we'll know when we can start him. The other thing I would say on DeMarcus Robinson is those Whittington hype has me a little scared. Like I still take DeMarcus Robinson, but the Whittington hype has me a little scared that Whittington could eat into DeMarcus a little bit.
I actually like in a redraft league, I think I'd take Whittington over DeMarcus and see what happens. But
I do think the Whittington stuff is overblown just because Puka hit so hard last year, and people think like, oh, I'm going to get a last round Rams receiver and he's going to win me $1 million, But,
Yoshi, right?
I think Yoshi.
Cool. Yeah. I'm good with Yoshi. And then we can maybe go kicker defense unless there's someone we really like. I do like the Shipley thing a little bit. But
I would take Shipley. I can't get really a good read on like this whole Kenny Gainwell thing. They loved Kenny Gainwell and trusted him for so long, but he's just not that good. So I don't know what they're going to do there, but I feel like they want Shipley to win the job.
It's like a CH thing, right? Like they want to move on, but
but they don't have anyone to move on with. Exactly. It's like Deneric Prince and this guy who, if you guys have seen a picture of Carson Steele, I mean, literally looks like a fullback from the movie The Program. Like that's what I think of when I see this guy, Carson Steele.
Kareem tweeted, it was hysterically tweeted, he even looked slow in a picture. He ran like
he ran 4.77.
Yeah, he has Aldrich estimate speed.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Dude, you gotta stop spreading this disinformation.
Estime's actually, I think, viable at this point. Not that you mention it.
Yeah, I think if Javonte Williams got hurt, Estime would have that like early down role.
Is Pierce totally dead?
I think he's dead in Houston. I do not think he's dead, period. Like in a different, Evan would know more than me. In a different scheme, Damian Pierce might still be able to be good.
Yeah, I think he needs to be in a gap scheme.
Oh, there he
And
goes.
right now he's in an outside zone scheme, and some dudes just can't execute that. And that's Damian Pierce.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy how bad he's been in regular season and the preseason. Like he cannot gain more than 3 yards. It's wild. He was so. I mean, he definitely had periods of explosiveness as a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot, entering his second season, wasn't he like a 4th or 5th round pick?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Massive fall off.
There goes Carson Steele. That's probably a pretty good pick.
At one point during his rookie season, it looked like he might win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw CH in the Q2. I know it's probably over for him, but again, we get the free look on him. I prefer the other guys we mentioned more, and I'd probably go kicker defense before CH.
Yeah. Let me pull up our kicker and defense rankings here.
Yeah, pull up Dank's tiers. That's kind of the go-to for me when I get to this point.
We could pair our kicker with our quarterback.
Is that a good thing?
We used to do that on the Swolecast.
Defense and kicker correlates well.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, it's not that big.
I mean, I guess it's like, I know, I'm just thinking through. It's like good for if the offense is good, the kicker is going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want touchdowns and not field goals.
Yeah.
But you
yeah,
get
we're
a floor.
We're gonna be streaming so much anyways, right? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, probably. Unless sometimes though, if you take like if like Butker comes or something, and you play him until the bye week at least, because he's just clearly a better kicker. Which
we actually have Butker in tier 2 here with Jake Elliott, Jason Myers, Dustin Hopkins, and Matt Gay. That's the tier 2.
Who's the first tier?
First tier already all went. First tier is Justin Tucker, the Young Ho Koo, Brandon Aubrey, and Kami Fernbairn. First tier.
Okay.
Those guys all went though.
Those are the only kickers that went. So
somebody's using our tiers.
Dink and I got Elliott in the very final round. So if it's the same tier, the kicker, we might be able to wait. Defense, there's some defenses. I think the Bengals have like a really nice schedule early. Dink outlined it in the tiers.
Yeah. Our top tier at defense is Jets, Cowboys, 49ers, and then favorable early season matchups, Chargers, Bengals, Giants, Steelers.
Is everybody on like the Shipley train?
I think it'd be good to get a look at what happens in the Gainwell versus Shipley thing in week 1, and then we can always just dump him. But
I like Shipley a lot.
Okay. If Shipley goes, there's Burden if we wanted to just see what happens week 1 with Cincy, but I think it's pretty certain that it's Yoshi, right? Like that's not really up in the air.
I think in week 1 it's going to be Yoshi. It'll be a question like how far buried is Jermaine Burton? Does he even get on the field in week 1?
I don't know if we want to peek at the Whittington thing or not, or if you think that's just a waste. There's Dortch.
We have 1 pick left, right? Yeah, I think it would be.
There's also Lobby too.
There goes Shipley.
Went.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get a look at Burton.
We also get the, at this point, the CEH. I think I'd take CEH on the free square, like just in the off chance Pacheco got hurt, and if not, we can just drop CEH like that week.
Even if he got hurt, like CH ain't gonna do a goddamn thing.
I bet thered be some waiver bucks spent on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, there are no trades in these FFPC leagues.
Well, whatever you guys want to do, I'm fine. When Lobby too, I kind of like the free game. There's also, I think, Justice Hill. Yeah, he's long gone. He went.
You guys remember when after the Chiefs drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Louis Riddick of ESPN said that he would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a fantasy draft at the 1.0 overall pick. He actually said that.
Dude, he went like 7th overall that year.
Did he?
Yeah. So what do you guys want to do? There's Estime too, Silva, if you're still into him.
You don't want to go kicker or defense here to get in front of it, or no?
We could do that. The way our ranks have it, like at this point, the Bengals. I think the Bengals has that really nice early season schedule. I'd probably go them, or Elliott.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want to do? We could do kicker defense and just punt this final skill player decision down the line.
I think Matt Gay, Elliott, or Jason Meyer. Oh, is Bucker gone?
Bucker's gone.
Yeah, Elliott. I'm fine with Elliott.
Gay's got a late bye.
I like Jake Bates of the Lions.
I'm gonna go Gay. You said
okay.
You're okay with that one, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good.
Then we don't have to worry about churning it in the waiver wire for a while unless he stinks.
Yeah. The more I think about this, we're gonna have to find someone to do the waivers because waivers runs twice a week, right?
Yeah, Wednesday night and Sunday mornings. So that Sunday morning one obviously is pretty brutal.
Yeah, right.
And
and it's all fab. You know, it's definitely a lot of work.
Defense. Do you want to do the Bengals?
Let me see here. So Jets, Cowboys, and Niners are all gone, correct?
Yes.
Chargers, Bengals, Giants, Steelers.
The Bengals start home versus New England at KC, then versus Washington at Carolina, then versus Baltimore, then at New York Giants. So 4 of the first 6 weeks are really good.
Yeah.
And then the Browns after that.
And the Browns after that.
We'd have to dump them though for the KC game though.
Well, we could, but the scoring, like the points allowed doesn't matter. It's like after 10 points allowed, it's 0.
We could suck it up.
Yeah, I like to mostly stream the for what it's worth. The Chargers start Raiders, Panthers, Steelers.
Yeah, I prefer the Bengals, but I would just hold them for KC and keep them for the good matchups, just because.
I agree with Leone.
Okay. These matchups by the way, these matchups for the Chargers are awesome. Raiders, Panthers, Steelers. Then they play the Chiefs, but then Broncos, Cardinals, Saints, Browns, Titans. I mean,
and if we really wanted to, I mean, we could pick up another D for week 2.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it's really, I mean, facing a team that throws a lot is like not terrible.
Oh boy, here comes Leone trying to say that starting a defense against Mahomes is good.
No, it's not good, but I don't think it's as bad as it sounds, because if Kansas City puts up 41 or they put up 12, it's the same for the scoring.
Yeah, right.
Which is nuts. I mean, it's in DFS, like that would be a difference of like 9 fantasy points, and in FFPC it's a difference of 0.
Yeah.
And I just think the offensive lines for New England and Washington, like they could take so many sacks those weeks 1 and 3.
Yeah. The only other thing I'd say about the Chargers is like they have a very good pass rush. I'm not sure on the Bengals. I'm checking Thorne's rankings right now.
I think it's pretty good, but you can double check it before we pick.
Thorne has Bengals pass rush 18th and Chargers 17th. So.
Hey, you guys want to take this one home? I'm exhausted. I have a ton of writing to do tomorrow.
For sure.
You don't want to stick around to debate Jordan Whittington versus Dylan Lobby in round 20?
No, you can haggle that out there, Leone. We got Schefter at noon.
Yes, be sure to check us out on Adam Schefter's podcast. We are recording that Thursday. This draft, by the way, was recorded on Wednesday, August 21st. So just so you guys know, in case there was any news after we did this, I'm not sure exactly when this is going to go up for us on YouTube. But yeah.
All right, guys. I like our team.
All right.
See you soon.
Godspeed.
The other thing this isn't really a Cincy versus Chargers thing, but you'd be surprised at we've already got one team with 2 defenses. Um, sometimes it's like not as easy to stream as it should be.
Right.
'Cause-
Because when benches are so deep, people just like, I'll just keep 2 defenses on my bench.
right. And then you usually want to stream, I guess, for a couple weeks, not just 1 week at a time.
Yeah. It's like I'm thinking more in like my league with my friends from high school. I can find a good kicker and a good defense literally every single week on the wire.
Yeah, and you can just churn. You can play it week by week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you
Some of
can.
the
It
stuff,
just depends on the league, and how many teams are going to really roster too.
right. Yeah, and it's all about the size of the bench. I mean, to me, like size of bench is like one of the most important things to think about when you're doing a draft.
All right, so
I mean, Estime is for sure 1 injury away from being the early down guy for Denver. Like, I believe that.
he
Just
went.
went.
He probably would have been. Yeah, I would have been on Estime there.
We're going to keep a running list this season for season-long people of guys that are 1 injury away at all positions, but obviously that makes the most sense at running back.
Who is? Oh, Sermon already went. Yeah, there's just. I mean, it's Lauby or one of these receivers.
I think it's worth getting a look at Pearsall or Burton, especially because we have Purdy. Like, I know we don't think we're going to get a look at Pearsall, but you don't know the season is like 3 weeks away. Like, and it was just beat writer speculation that he'd be inactive in week 1. Like.
Yeah, I mean, for round 20, I'm okay with it.
And the Ayuk thing isn't over yet. Like, it's probably
That's
over,
true.
but it's not 100% over.
That's true. It's not 100%, and we've seen weirder things happen. That's a good point.
Yeah, the guys that I've been taking last round in best ball, and 20th round I'm talking about, have been Naylor, Bigsby, Tim Patrick, Madison, Elijah Moore, Lobby, Shipley, Michael Mayer. And like that's very different than from what I was doing 2 weeks ago in the 19th and 20th round, where you could get guys like Bo Nix at that point, and like, but
yeah,
it's changed a lot.
and you see how it's different here with teams not taking as many quarterbacks, and
Right.
Those running backs, you just don't have a prayer at getting.
Right.
The wide receivers you do. I mean, there's a lot of decent wide receivers. I like the Mayer thing though. Is kind of interesting. I know we've got 3 tight ends, but I know Bowers is dealing with a little thing, and they might do a lot of 2 tight end stuff. I'd be interested in seeing that out of the gate.
Yeah, I take Mayer just on like everybody's like, oh, you can't take Trey Tucker. They're going to be in 2 tight end all the time. All right, well, if they're in 2 tight end all the time, then Michael Mayer is probably a pretty decent pick in the 20th round. So
the other thing that I haven't done as much as I think it's good, but the Noah Brown, Bo Melton picks, just on injuries in front of them, are really.
I know.
I wish I did it more.
I wish I had Stroud more in best ball. He just goes so high. It's like tough. Like I want to take Noah Brown on Stroud stuff, but yeah.
I've started to do it on non-Stroud stuff just to try and get a little bit more.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know. It just feels like any one of those guys goes down, he'd be like,
yes,
a really good pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, where are you at here? I kind of like the Mayer thing, but Pearsall makes sense with having Purdy, and then Lauby I think is like the only draftable running back left.
I guess my concern on Lauby is like, even if they had a bunch of injuries, Zamir got hurt. Like, I don't think Lauby is ever getting more than, I don't know, 8 touches a game. Maybe that's a bad read because he's a rookie and I don't really know, but I don't know.
No, I'm kind of with you. I mean, he's the best of the running back picks left, but that is for sure a very reasonable bear case, is that, he's just a pass catcher. In best ball, if he runs in, that's a little bit better if you run into a pass catching running back in round 20. And managed, it's not really going to move the needle for us.
Yeah. I think I probably would say Pearsall or Mayer. One of those two, I would say. And the only thing on Pearsall, again, is just like, if Ayuk does end up holding out or getting traded or something, then we're gonna be real happy we have Pearsall.
Yeah, I think you've swung me on to Pearsall with just even if it's like a 2% chance, and Pearsall goes as you sold me on Pearsall.
Yeah, Mayer's fine.
Mayer's fine, but you sold me on Pearsall with the Ayuk thing not being 100% resolved. But yeah, let's go Mayer. We can tell Silva we got a fourth tight end. He'll be happy. I don't know if you want to recap.
Yes. All right. We started with Bijan Robinson, which I thought was for sure right there. And I think in a lot of these managed leagues, it was close. I prefer Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase, maybe Justin Jefferson to Bijan, but it's really, really close. And when we know we're going to get crazy wide receiver values later, easy pick there for Bijan or Brees there, in my opinion. Tight end premium, easy pick on Kincaid. Close one, I thought, between Waddle, Kyron, and Devontae Williams. We ended up going Waddle there. I think you can make a case for Kyron also there. Kittle pick, I would have probably preferred Rashee Rice there, but again, it's really hard in our head to figure out all the 1.5 points for tight end premium stuff. So we had that really close in ranking also. So we have Kittle there, Tank Dell, Jaden Reed. Those are the kind of plays that I think are awesome and managed, and we were very close to also getting Xavier Worthy. We were close to getting Steph Diggs. We were close to getting Calvin Ridley or something, or we could have taken Fat Keenan there in round 7 instead of Swift. So yeah, there were certainly a lot of wide receiver options. Swift, Goddard, a third tight end, which obviously I wouldn't even take a second tight end probably in a normal league. In this, we're treating them as basically wide receivers. And so comparing Goddard to Ladd or Hollywood or Jameson in this format, I probably still prefer wide receiver there, but I get it on Goddard and the tight end premium. Wanted to get some more upside, like with Jameson Williams, breakout, young guy. Caleb Williams, I love that we got him in round 10. I think that's an absolute smash. Then we started loading up on running backs who are one injury away, or we can get some usable stuff out of them. Ray Davis, Lloyd, and Gibson. Bateman has that wide receiver 2 job all to himself in Baltimore this year. Purdy as our backup quarterback goes with Kittle very nicely. McMillan, like no brainer, so late for a rookie wide receiver. Then just some flyers on Yoshi and Michael Mayer to go with our kicker and defense here. So yeah, I think, we try to find ways to do managed streams for you guys because I know people are really interested in this. The problem is that there aren't really great places to do it where it can mimic your like draft with your boys from home. And maybe we should do something like a Yahoo mock or an ESPN mock or something like that. It's so bad, but it might be worth it. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll try to do one of those before the end of draft season here. But this was fun, Leone. We turned 2K into 3 tight ends in the first 8 rounds, which is going to eventually lead to $1 million. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this team that we put together here tonight?
I'll go 8. I'll give us an 8.
All right.
I think we were a couple of snipes away from it breaking really, really well. You mentioned the Worthy stuff, the Dig stuff, the Waddle pick, in round 3 I think was fine, but in full PPR is like a little stretch. And Kittle versus Rice, I think it turned out pretty good, but not perfect.
Yeah, and seeing obviously if you could go back the 2v2 of Rice and Goddard versus Kittle and whatever else we did there, was
Yeah, if we could just swap Kittle for Rice and do nothing else different,
right.
we'd be happier.
Yes, that would feel much better. But alas, we had no idea that Dallas Goedert would last until the 8th round here, was way past ADP. We certainly can't predict that. All right. It is past midnight Eastern here for Mr. Leone. Appreciate you staying up very late to do this draft tonight. Michael, appreciate you all being here. If you have not grabbed the draft kit yet, it is $49.99. If you are still grinding the best ball streets, all our best ball rankings and content is $39.99. Head to establishtherun.com for more details on that. For Silva, for Leone, for producer Ryan behind the scenes doing great work on the YouTube stuff, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.